Now, let me tell you today, and I've repeatedly told you this. I'm deeply concerned about the continuing numbers of Ugandans who are out crying, seeking for help, asking for help from anyone, from actually bystanders, from anyone, from any Ugandan, any well wisher. I'm really concerned, but I'm still disturbed at the same time how these Ugandans continue to actually expose themselves to the same mayhem which they have seen happening over years. It disturbs me also when a few amongst these Ugandans who are leaders, whom we see that have got a little bit of education, that have got to start up some associations and are called leaders in quotes, cannot actually see the need for us to unite and come up with a solidified kind of leadership, which we have already actually made a gesture by the formation of a federation, registration of a federation, to actually come up with this kind of leadership and call on government to begin to first of all recognize us. Two, to allow this recognized body to have a say, to have a say in matters of these, I mean, a say in matters concerning the deployment of these Ugandans who cry afterwards, to allow us have a verification, okay, a briefing, if you don't call it a verification, a briefing of our members, the so-called members who represent, to allow these members to talk to us before leaving this country, to actually know us before leaving the country. That will actually mean to provide, to give a proactive way, a proactive solution to their problems, but not waiting to be firefighters, continuing to be firefighters of their cases, as if we know them much when they are living in error. Because when they are living in error, when they are being trafficked, we concern ourselves less. I'm wondering, and I'm still questioning that. If we are not part of the process, then why are we bothered about those who suffer afterwards? Why do you think you're going to be so much relevant, or you have even much power to help somebody whom you did not actually know how she happened to join a certain controversy? If you were not there when these Ugandans are actually being exposed into a controversy, how dare you be relevant or even meaningful if you're not a sabotager into the negotiation and the discussion of their violations and mistreatment and abuse? You cannot carry relevance, especially in matters of labor, the civil matters, where those you want to defend are presumed to have signed the contracts. Do you think about that? If these people are left to move without a formation or a formal kind of arrangement that is dubious, it is tainted to them to mean that, you are taken formally through legal means, through licensed companies, and therefore you are signing legal agreements, legal contracts. So whatever that happens in any working contract or employment contract, there are terms and conditions that resolve these disputes. So you cannot be a negotiator of a contract when you are not mentioned as a party. You look at the contracts of the Ugandan migrant workers, the domestic migrant workers, the employment contract, the standard employment contract of domestic workers in Saudi Arabia. It is standard. But where are you mentioned? You, the defender, the so much concerned leader of migrant workers. Are you mentioned in this standard employment contract? No. Suggestions have been put in place by migrant workers' voice all the time, forwarded to ministry. seeking for this kind of position to see that migrant workers can have a stake into the contract, the leaders to have a stake. But to surprise you, when you read that standard employment contract, it is actually a misrepresentation where they made a recruiter to represent the worker, but the worker cannot speak for herself. Can't you question that? And this is what you have to question, whoever is concerned, before you want to say, how can I help those who are calling me, that were trafficked or taken by these agents, swindled their money? My brother, you cannot do much apart from appearing to be a firefighter, misused by some of the agents, misused by the ministry itself when it purports to be assisting these Ugandans, and yet it actually orchestrates the whole gulaga, the whole state of forced labor, the whole state of human trafficking by just mere rejecting and neglecting your what? Your position or your proposal to have a stake, to have an opinion, to have a face-off with these Ugandans, to have a countdown, actually, of those whom they claim to have externalized formally. Do you know them? You don't know. And when you look at numbers, the recruiters will tell you different numbers. Numbers don't match. The ministry will tell you different numbers cleared, and recruiters will tell you different numbers. And then for you, you are here saying you are also defending the same people who were taken in such an haphazard movement. Can you imagine? You know, me myself, I cannot keep lying to myself over years, that I am able to support a Ugandan who is an adult above 18 who can actually simply walk to the Workers' Association, or when he returns and walks to the Returnees Association, these migrant workers associations, and become a member. I cannot be here to wait to see this person taking himself into a risk, into such a jeopardy, into such a lacuna. They continue taking themselves into the same. Some of them actually giving themselves to be trafficked, as if we do not sensitize them, as if they have not been told. Yes, some may not know, but you don't want to say, I don't want you to say that you also don't know. Open up to these girls who are calling, those who are calling you that are in trouble. Tell them you made a mistake. Next time, don't. If we do that for 6 months or 1 year, we warn all of those Ugandans who are leaving this country and all those overseas who are aiding them. And we warn them over the repercussions of moving in such a way. Then we shall be able to change this narrative. Migrant Workers' Voice has done this to the latter. And this is why you see the fruit of associations cropping up. They were not there. These associations of migrant workers were not there, leave alone those of returnees. But the migrant workers associations were not there. They have just come because of the vibrancy and the advocacy done by Migrant Workers' Voice. That voiceless voice for the migrant workers, the voice for the voiceless. But it is now calling for the voice of Ugandans in particular, a recognition of this voice. There must be a national voice, not a voice for the voiceless, which is an NGO. There must be a national recognized voice to iron out this, a voice and a federation where these Ugandans belong before they leave. Then we shall stop, we shall have counteracted, we shall have proactively assisted them from falling victims of circumstances later. I think I'm communicating. I wish buli omu awuliriza ekintu kino, because deep in my heart, I am seeing a solution to this problem. Unfortunately, even after speaking all that I have just spoken right now, you will not understand me. You're going to just come out in such a simple way, walk out. I'm not saying you alone, but very many people will listen because they don't have patience or a reason to even listen deeply and understand why this man is agitating for this. Let me tell you, if we do not have a stake in whatever decision these people are taking at the ministry, you will never actually support anyone abroad and carry meaning. Because little you know, before you help this person to return, she will be again begging you to take her back. You do not have a solution home to create better employment. Neither do you have a solution to assist those in distress because you are not there. And if you were there or recognized to be part of those assistants prior to the issues, then you would be making a meaning. But you don't make a meaning if you're going to be a beggar, if you are going to remain somebody who reports cases. You know, very many of these associations formed have become hawkers of cases that they cannot stand to help their fellow members because they are made handicapped. They are made actually unaware of what to negotiate, of a position, of a stake. Therefore, they are being used. They are used by the ministry to become reporters, news reporters, case reporters. Wherever there is a case, move to the ministry and report. Yes, you are going to the ministry and report. But ministry being a regulator, it does not become, you know, it does not assume the position of workers' representation or workers' support. The support workers have to give as first line is very, very relevant and very vital. That thing you feel to assist somebody who is out crying out there is what you should